It was just time to really tell a great untold Detroit story, because it kind of covers Detroit at its zenith.
Very interesting story.
We decided that we were going to make a movie.
All right, Rich Rossi with you with Motown Mafia. I'm with Courtney.
Louis Stevens,
Courtney Brown.
Courtney Brown Jr.
And Alan Al Prophet Bradley.
And this is an entrepreneurial, inspirational story too, because again, you know, I'm a real estate retail guy. You know, that's what my skill set is. But I'm a businessman, so I was like, you know, we're gonna do it. You know, sometimes when you got a dream, you won't have all the answers on how you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
What made this one unique was not so much the crime, but the intertwining with Detroit's history and the Motown era and kind of the economic decline of Detroit. And it's really the story of a family. And from some perspectives, it's has a happy ending, like you said. For others, it didn't have a happy
ending. Right.
but right now we wanted to ask you a question about 5-0.
Ronald Garrett, 5-0. Little history trivia lesson for those who guys don't put together. You know how we do in our community. So a real popular show in the late 60s and early 70s was Hawaii 5-0. The main character in Hawaii 5-0 was a guy by the name of Ronald Garrett. So obviously, you know the streets, how we do in the streets, right? 5-0 having the same, or Ronald Garrett, the lifelong friend of my dad, lifelong friend of Eddie Jackson, had the same name as this TV show's character, and that's where the nickname 5-0 came from Hawaii 5-0, right? He had the same name as the main character on the show. So what I can tell you is that, you know, all of my childhood, you know, he was as integral and as around. 5-0, Charles Rudolph, the Great Dolph, Black Butch, Reggie Weaver, Joe Weaver. Those 5 guys growing up, I mean, were basically around every day. My father and 5-0, I believe, go back to being 5 or 6 years old. You know, if you've seen the doc, then you know about that Eddie Jackson's crew was basically combined of guys who were all grown up together. So 5-0 lived 1 block away from Eddie growing up, 1 block away from my father growing up. Eddie and 5-0 and my dad all, again, they go back to like when they were 5, 6 years old. So 5-0 was a part of that original crew, the original crew of my father, Russell Clayton, Charles Rudolph. I'm missing somebody. The original 5. Eddie, my father, 5-0, Rudolph, Russell Clayton. Those 5, the original 5 that really, you know, and as Jap talked about, there were others, Jap and Cedell, who was even there before Pops and them. But those 5 that really is talked about in the doc. So 5-0 was there from the very beginning, and he grew up with Eddie. Known in the streets, when Eddie gets out of the wholesale business, and you know, at the meeting that's talked about in the book, at my house, my dad's house, my house, I'm a little boy, and Eddie tells the crew, I'm tired of this retail thing. Y'all can have it. I'm going strictly wholesale. And he gives everybody in the crew $10,000. Of course, that's $10,000 1972 money, so that's basically like giving everybody in your crew $100,000 today's money. So he gave everybody that. 5-0 goes off and does his own thing, and became even more famous. Him and Dolph go off and do their own thing. So 5-0 now, even though 5-0, when Eddie let them go and do their own thing, they're still buying from Eddie. So the click, you know, that was really just Eddie being kind of a genius. And what he basically did was set up his crew with franchises, and he was the owner of the company. But the 5-0 franchise did really, really well, along with the Charles Rudolph franchise. You know, Pop went on to keep working with Eddie directly. So what else is 5-0 kind of famous for? Oh, 5-0's with Eddie when they make that horrible decision, and they decide to go out to New York and go talk to the Connect after a long night of partying, and they in my mama's El Dorado. They get pulled over, they get popped with 11 bricks of heroin, 3 bricks of cane, and get a second case while they're already, because 5-0, of course, is on the original indictment, the big indictment that starts with the Farrah Lee bust in New York and ends with the raid in Hubble, which was the biggest raid still in Detroit history. So 5-0's a major part of that first indictment, the 32-man one. Then he's caught with Eddie again. They catch the other case in Pennsylvania. Milton Henry using his connections out there and Eddie using his big bankroll. You know, they end up beating that case in Pennsylvania. That case went all the way to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. And Eddie and 5-0 beat that case. And, you know, 5-0 then came home in the 80s after he did the time from the big case and continued to do his thing out in the streets and just a street legend, a project legend. I mean, so when you say Ronald 5-0 Garrett, you talk to anybody, I'd say, over the age of 45, and they gonna, in this town of Detroit, and they gonna have a story to tell you about 5-0. So just a hustler, man. Ronald 5-0 Garrett. Shout out to 5-0. Rest in peace.